There's this amazing video out there on YouTube. You can watch it. You can see for yourself between Ram Dass and Dr. Wayne Dyer. And these two great men sitting in a room together. It's a three-part video. Uh, the first one deals with Ram Dass on, he's in the 60s. He was a psychologist, and then he got into LSD. And then he went to India, and he met this amazing teacher that changed his life dramatically. And he started really helping people more from the heart than the mind. And he's a very fundamental person if you want to get into the psychology of it. And he had a stroke, and it greatly affected his life. He couldn't do many of the things. And Dr. Wayne Dyer, who is a self-help writer, I agree with a lot of his things. I can see meaning in them. A lot of it is common sense to me. It's like, well, I don't think I'm at this level you're talking about, but I can still appreciate it. And Wayne will take from different varieties. He also has a psychological view. So they're both very interesting people to see together in a room talking. And Wayne wrote in his book that for people to send donations to Ram Dass, and there was a great outpouring. And the first part of the video is about that. The second part is about something else I forget, but the third part of what intrigued me the most. Ram Dass starts out saying that everybody he meets that wants to find the truth in a spiritual way, he can't help but speak to in a truthful, meaningful way, as if God's speaking through. That's literally what he believes. It's not like, I'm going to go see Ram Dass because he's some wise person. It's because he sees in this amazing, humble way. And the two men agree on a lot of things. But then they get to this really interesting aspect. That's a huge difference, where one's here and one's over here on their nature of their belief in God. Ram Dass comes from this Hindu idea that God is both good and evil. God's the whole thing. Everything is God. Okay? And Wayne Dyer sees it as energy. That God is energy coming towards you, and negative energy is moves on a different wavelength, and it's actually going away from God. But if you put a positive energy there, it comes back to you in a good way. Which both is a philosophical view. Okay? And I'm listening to them talk, and I'm kind of just like, wow, you're sitting there saying that Buddha wasn't a Buddhist, Christ wasn't a Christian, and all these doctrinal views. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe they're just saying this to say it, because I'm pretty sure by all the things they're saying, it was pretty well not scripted, but they knew what they were going to talk about. So Wayne Dyer is talking about energy, and Ram Dass is talking about basically Hindu ideas on the nature of God, yin and yang, good and evil, and which they get into the discussion about what was the tsunami an act of God? Was Ram Dass's stroke an act of God? Ram Dass, seeing it through his guru, says yes, of course, because I found humility through it. I found a way to grow from it. I found a way to help other people from it. And Wayne agrees. So you have this basic idea that these two men agree on the same thing, or they're seeing it from a different lens. And that's what I don't like. It's why I don't like religion, is that lens, And they both basically started out saying that, hey, this is what we don't like, and then they laugh about it, but they both go to what their views are. So my ideas are a little different. I think they're both right. I think, yes, God is good and evil. God gives you opportunities to see things from my perspective. I've seen, like, if you want to go out and you want to hurt a bunch of people and steal from them or do whatever, you can do that because you have this time on earth right now, this moment, to make the most of it, to impact other people's lives. You are an expression of God. And if you realize just the freedom of that, God could have made us all robots that didn't have, I'm going to say, free will here, but there'd be nothing to learn or gain. I think we're all souls on a spiritual journey, And this is our time to find everything out. This is time to, pardon the language, get our shit together. But I see it both perspectives. I think energy does work on. Uh, Wayne talks about God being a source and energy and different wavelengths like light, and it's true. It's very true. And I also see God as being both good and negative, because as with people, if you deal with your negative side, you see that it's actually to protect you. It's that fight or flight. Now, God doesn't have that, but even from a Christian perspective, anybody that's read the Old Testament knows that the Old Testament God is not the cuddly little teddy bear. he Sometimes he says, I've done all this, and I just got to give you a little push here. Uh, I think it's on how you interpret it. I find the value in Wayne's view. I don't see negativity in God. I don't see negativity anywhere in that aspect. I think when you get to the core of who you are, there is only good. It's on how you deal with it and on what place you are to learn from it. But I also see that from Ram Dass's view, that truth is more than that. I guess that's the cue that my video should end now. I'll leave it up to all of you to decide. There again, I don't like dogma. Small gas-powered engine wins every time. I'm telling you. That's God right there telling me to shut up. So maybe I am supposed to leave it up to all of you.